Welcome back to Girl Out of Order. I am so happy that you are here because it is our final episode in the Who Are You Really series. You did it. You completed all of this hard work and you have arrived at the final episode where we put it all together. And I am so excited that you are here. I'm so proud of you. I know that you have worked hard. I know you have done the exercises. I know you have implemented the things that we have talked about to not only design your compelling future, but to uncover, maybe recover, or for the first time ever, discover your true amazing identity. Because to design a compelling life that you will really freaking love, you have to know who you are at your core. And you did it, sisters. You have worked through 6 weeks of exercises and tools and strategies that are designed to help you get to your real identity. What I like to call finding your way home to you. I've been through this process so many times through the Unleash Her Power Within program. And pretty much in my personal development journey, I am always working on identity. It has become my life's passion. And I don't know if I've ever actually explained to you why I'm so passionate about helping women uncover their true identities, but here it is. For most of my life, I found myself contorting my beautiful, amazing self into a mold I was never designed to fit into. And this started at a very, very young age. When I was just a little girl, I was told I was too loud. I talked too much. And then I received the message throughout elementary school and different relationships that I just simply would never be enough. I was told I was too unsubmissive when I was part of a conservative church, that I would never quite measure up until I fixed what was wrong with me as a person. And there have been messages I've received from all different directions, from the littlest of the littles all the way up until, well, frankly, recently. I think it's something all of us women battle. But it came to a head years ago in my marriage when I was faced with a very difficult decision. Do I stay or do I go? And the beautiful, strangely wrapped gift that came out of that difficult time in my life was this passion to figure out who Christine is at her core. And not only to figure out who I am at my core, but to fall in love with her, to become my own damn hero. Because I've said this a number of times on this podcast, the only person you, sister, are guaranteed to be with for the rest of your life is you. So knowing who you truly are is essential to the most beautiful life and you deserve to have. You deserve to live a gorgeous, compelling life. How do you do that if you don't know who you are? How do you do that if you're always looking outside of yourself for acceptance, for direction, for definition? May it never be. And so it was out of that struggle in my own marriage and all of the years following that, that I gradually became aware of who I am at my core. And then when I joined the Tony Robbins community in November of 21 and the Unleash Her Power Within community in early 2022, I really developed a fierce passion for helping women uncover their true identities. Because it's from that place of knowing who you truly are, sisters, as you know, because you're in the last episode of this series, that you can then be the captain of your own ship and design your gorgeous life. That's what it's all about, right? So let's do a quick review because today's the final episode of this series, but it's just the beginning of your journey. I want to just summarize where you've come and where we're going. So remember in part 1 of this series, We talked about what gets measured has the best chance to grow, but what doesn't get measured isn't likely to grow, or it's going to grow at a much slower pace. So we did the wheel of life. We looked at all of the areas of our lives and we figured out there's some gaps that we really would like to fill in order to live our best lives. Nobody else gets to define your life for you, sisters. Nobody else gets to rate your categories, just you. So, did you do the wheel of life? I would recommend doing this wheel of life. Honestly, I would do it several times a year. I've done it so many times. And I'm always pleasantly surprised when I see the growth in certain areas. And then I'm very grateful when I see the gaps that have appeared in other areas, because then I can drill down my focus on what is keeping me from having a balanced, beautiful life. And then in part two, we really got to the meat of what Girl Out of Order stands for, and it is our belief system. Because at Girl Out of Order, we are all about learning how to radically love ourselves. And in order to do that with the most effectiveness possible, we have to understand what goes on between our ears. What are we believing about ourselves? What belief systems are we subscribing to? So, we talked about getting the right kind of BS belief system, because a lot of times we have programs operating in the background of our minds that we are not even aware of. Oftentimes, we have become asleep to what truly matters. And those are our belief systems, because those are what fuels our action, and our actions determine the quality of our lives. And it all starts with what we believe about ourselves. You did some really important work on identifying your disempowering beliefs that you've been subscribing to and replacing them with more empowering, life giving, beautiful belief systems. I've said it a million times and I'll say it until God takes my breath away someday. You can only control what goes on between your ears. So, what you believe will determine the quality of your life. And then we put our work boots on, and then we got into decision making, because once you have empowering beliefs, you have to start making different decisions that align with your new belief systems. And so, we talked all about what it means to take action in your new identity. And then we moved on to a beautiful exercise, one of my favorite exercises I've ever done. And we talked about the power of modeling and the power of the mirror. And we identified our role models, people we look up to, people that maybe are in our lives or maybe are on our list to become in our lives. And we listed out all of the different attributes, the why, right? Why do I admire Siri Lindley? Why do I admire Sage Robbins? Why do I admire Carissa Kuchis? Well, it was so easy to write all the things that we admire about these people, and then we put our name at the top of that list, because what you see in others that you admire, you actually have within your beautiful self. And then we got real practical. We talked about the forces of identity creation. We talked about 5 to thrive. And I introduced you to the concept of the triad, where we control our physiology, we control our focus, and we control our language and our meaning. And it's how we stand, how we breathe, how we hold our head. Are we looking up with strength and power and confidence, or are our shoulders slumped? Where are we putting our focus? Because where your focus goes, your energy absolutely flows. And then how are we talking about ourselves? How are we talking about situations? Are we using the phrase have to, or are we using the phrase get to? I've been noticing that even with myself over the last, I would say, a couple of days. I've even noticed how much I said, oh, I've got to do this. Even coming up here to record this podcast, I'm like, oh, I got to go record my podcast. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I get to go record my podcast. I get to talk to my beautiful listeners. I'm excited to share what I'm learning with all of you. So, how are you talking about your life, your situations, your circumstances, your relationships, and most importantly, yourself? So powerful, right? And then last week, I introduced you to the concept of a personal manifesto. We took back that word manifesto with all the icky meanings that it's had with some awful people in the past. And we really looked at what the word meant, which is to manifest. And so we wrote out our new identity. I am Aurora Flame. We named her. I don't know if you're comfortable with that, but I would invite you to play around with it. You don't have to tell anybody, but just play around with it. If you were to think of like what name comes to mind, what would it be for you? For me, it's Aurora Flame because she's beautiful and she's feminine and she's soft, but she's also strong because flames have power. They give light, they give heat, they give life, they give sustenance. And Aurora, like the Aurora Borealis, it's beautiful and mysterious and colorful and it lights up the sky and it's rare. That's me, sisters. That's right. That's me. That's the identity I created in my manifesto. If you haven't done your personal manifesto, it is the perfect time of the year to do that. We're all vision casting, right? We're all coming out of holiday haze and we're looking towards the new year. Do your manifesto. Take an hour and just free associate. Just write whatever comes to mind. You're going to be so glad that you did that. And now it's time to lock and load all of this stacking. Do you see how we stacked week after week after week? We stacked all of these elements of identity creation on top of one another. It's amazing. And now it's time to lock it in. And so today we are talking about the 5 steps to lasting change. Originally, it was going to be 3 steps, but as I started writing, I was like, no, 5 is my lucky number. And I couldn't really just sum it up with 3. So before we dive in, let's do our empowereds for the week. And it comes from Golda Meir. If I'm saying her name right, but she was Israel's first and only female head of government and the first female head of government in anywhere in the Middle East. So if you're not familiar with Golda Meir, look her up. She's got a fascinating story, but I love this quote and I think it sets the stage for where we're going. She said, "Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement." Do you hear what I did there? A little play on the flames. Couldn't help myself. I love those empowers and they set the stage for where we're going in this episode. So are you ready to create lasting change? All change can be lasting if you do the work and you're strategic about it. So I'm going to give you these 5 steps to lasting change, and I hope that you will take them to heart. I hope that you will come away from this series feeling encouraged, inspired, and optimistic because I am. And I've got some zigs and zags and some dips, and there's just times when I'm wondering, gosh, all this work, and why am I still struggling with this? But here's the deal. We are forever changing and evolving. The day you stop changing is the day you finish your race, right? We're always changing. And if we're not growing, well, you know what we're doing, right? Okay. So embrace these steps, apply these steps, write them out, put them where you can see them. Because I think if you do, no, I hate that phrase. I think I'm working really hard to get it out of my system. So hold me accountable for that. I know that if you embrace these 5 steps to lasting change, guess what? You will be able to lock and load your changes. Okay. So here's the first one. The first one is to remember. Remember. Remember that your power comes from within you. That's right. It all starts by remembering not only who you are, but remembering that you have the power. You created your new empowering identity, sister. You found your way back to the real you. You exchanged your BS for a more empowering BS. You made some decisions and took some actions. You harnessed the power of modeling and mirroring, and you thus expanded who you now know yourself to be and who you are becoming. You created, perhaps for the first time ever, your first triad, and you now know the power of physiology, focus, language, and meaning so that you can show up as the best version of you in every situation possible. You brought it all together and wrote out your personal manifesto to go storming into 2024 with passion, vitality, vision for what's to come for you. What's the common denominator here? It's you. You have the power within you. You're limited, unlimited. You are beautiful. You are powerful. It's all residing within you, and you need to simply remember that that is true. The most effective way to have change that lasts is to never lose sight of the fact that the power to change is yours alone. This means, sister, that you must have radical self-responsibility for your own transformation. Just like you don't get to control anybody else's transformation, you don't cede your transformation to anyone else. Radical self-responsibility and deep awareness that you always, always have the power within you to create this lasting change. I love the musical Wicked. I don't know if you know the musical Wicked, but if you haven't ever seen it, find your way there. I love the music. I love the characters. I was so blessed to be able to see the musical Wicked on Broadway. And well, if Chicago has Broadway, I guess that's not really fair. It's not really on Broadway. It's just in Chicago. But I was able to see it when it had Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel in it before all these amazing other ones came through. So I got to see like the OG, just like I got to see the OG Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat with Donny Osmond. I mean, once you've seen those, you literally are ruined forever. I don't know where I'm going with this, but there's a quote here for this element of remembering. It's from Glinda the Good Witch. She said, "Dear one, you had the power within you all along. The strength, the wisdom, the magic. It was never external, but a radiant force from within your own beautiful soul." No, frankly, I'll be super honest. I don't know if that's from Wicked or if that's actually from, The Wizard of Oz. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. You get the point. Okay. Step 2 to create lasting change. Step 2 is to embrace the dip. Now, what does that mean? Change is not linear. Sisters, excuse me, I'm still battling that doggone cough. Change is not linear. Change is a zig and a zag, and you're going to have dips when you're making transformations in your life. That's just the truth. You've got to deal with that. What are you going to do? Are you going to whine about it? You're going to complain about it? Or are you going to embrace the dip? You're going to embrace the dip because you're a girl out of order and you are designing your new compelling life. And so you're not going to whine about it because what good is that going to do, right? When we are changing anything in our lives, dips are going to come. It's those moments in time when you feel defeated, deflated, distracted. You're just off track. It happens. It's all part of the process. It's a zig and it's a zag. And sometimes when you have a dip, you got to turn on a song called The Dip and you just do the little dip dance and you go, all right, here, this is just a dip. Because if you go back to the triad, how you talk about things often determines how you feel about them. Like Siri Lindley says, when you change the way you look at something, the thing that you look at will change. So what are you going to do when you have a dip? Are you going to whine about it? Or are you going to look at it and be like, this is all part of the process? Because right now I'm going through a ton of change, not only in my life, but in my business. And I'm feeling so much frustration in certain areas of my life that I have found myself getting, honestly, kind of anxious. I feel like tense. I'm kind of clenching my fist. And then I remembered something that Tony Robbins says when somebody he's talking to at his conferences, I'm just so frustrated. And he goes, She's frustrated, ladies and gentlemen, and the whole crowd goes wild. Why is that? Because oftentimes when we're frustrated, we're right on the edge of a breakthrough. So when you feel a dip and you feel frustrated that things aren't kind of clicking, aren't going quite the way you want them to, cheer, dance, be like, yes, I'm frustrated. This is amazing, because it means you're on the edge of a breakthrough. So embrace the dips as part of life. Embrace the dips as part of change and transformation. You're growing. And as you grow, you're going to have dips. Embrace them. Okay. So, ready for number three? Number three, and this is one of my absolute favorites, and it's something that I've implemented in my life fairly well, but I could always, always, always do better. And it is accountability. Real talk, sisters. The best way to create lasting change is to have honest, helpful, real accountability. That doesn't mean you invite your mama to tell you how amazing you are, although maybe your mama doesn't do that for you, but you don't want to just invite people into your life. They're going to tickle your ears and tell you what you want to hear. You want to invite sisters into your life that are going where you're going, who are willing to tell you the hard truth, but do it in love. You don't want to invite people in who are just going to be, beating you over the head. You want to invite people in that you have opened up to, like, hey, this is my process. These are the changes I'm trying to make, and I am inviting your accountability. I need your help. Are you willing to partner with me? Have those conversations. It can be any number of people. I personally believe that you should have different types of accountability in your life. This is just my opinion. I have really close friends who tell me hard truths, who give it to me straight. My best friend Lydia, she does not mince words. And sometimes I have to be like, whoa, 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 sister, slow your roll. I just wanted a hug. You know what I'm saying? But she is amazing because she knows me so well. Then I have my sisters in UHPW who are my fellow senior mentors, who are amazing women, and we're all studying the same material and we're leading in the same group. And so they are able to speak into my life from a different perspective, and I welcome that. And not only do we do that in a group setting, but I have relationships with several of them individually where I open myself up to them and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this, or I want to be held accountable for that. I'm going in this direction, but I don't think I'm on track. What do you say? And then you invite people in to hold you accountability. Ideally, you'll join a group of like-minded women who are also committed to personal growth and lasting change. And here's the best news ever. Hey, if you haven't joined the Girl Out of Order Facebook community, this is the place to be. This is the place to start, because I am telling you right now, in 2024, this Facebook community, I have so many juicy things in store, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. But please, first thing you do when you're done with this podcast is join the Girl Out of Order Facebook community. It is filled with women who are going in the direction of personal growth and development, who want better for themselves, who want more for their lives, who are looking to share and inspire and encourage and hold one another accountable. And this group is about ready to take off, and you don't want to miss out. So join the Girl Out of Order Facebook community. It's the perfect place to start with your accountability. Get in there, not only for what you can get, but importantly, for what you can give. Part of accountability is mutuality. And when you give in an accountability relationship, you will grow so much faster and lock your change in much quicker. All right. And now we are on to the last step to lasting change. And it is let them witness. What do I mean by that? Okay, this one's very simple. I'll cut to the chase. It just means live it out, sisters. Live it out. A lot of times when people go through significant changes, or they're redesigning their lives, or they're figuring things out for themselves, they just want to talk, 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 talk. They want to tell their partner how it's going to be. And this is what all the things I'm changing. And this is how different I am. And this and this. We women like to talk, let's be honest. But let them witness. Focus your energy on living out the changes you are making in yourself. Focus on designing a life and living a life and walking a walk that is congruent with your new identity, with your manifesto. Don't talk people's ears off. A lot of times when we are transforming, we want to get everybody on the change train. We want to get everybody on the change train. Come on, people, get on with it. But not everybody is on the same time frame, and not everybody is ready to hear about it. The truth is, you will know you are really changing when you stop talking about it and you just start walking it. And I'm not speaking about with the accountability partners, because obviously that's a different topic. You want to be talking about your changes with people you've invited into an accountability relationship. But don't go blasting everybody with a fire hose, because it's not going to go well for you. On the contrary, there's nothing sexier and more attractive than a transformed woman strutting through life in her empowered, grace-filled, confident new manner. Let that be you. The bottom line is, you don't want to shove your change in people's faces. You just simply want to live it out. And when you live it out, guess what happens? Here's the magic. People start saying, well, Karen, why are you different? I've been, you know, noticing things. You seem a little happier these days. What's going on? Then they start asking, and then you can share the truths that you're learning. And that's a beautiful thing when you've been invited in. You want to transform marriage? Become a transformed woman. You want better communication with your kiddos? Ask more questions, inquire about them, and then shut the hell up and listen with grace and patience. This goes for me, by the way, just FYI. You're aiming for that promotion at work? Start living in your integrity and exemplifying excellence in everything you do and say. So there's your 5 steps to lasting change. It might seem simplistic, but just start here, sisters. If you start here, all of this work you've been doing for the last 7 weeks or so is going to really start to lock in, and it's perfect timing because we're going into the new year. So lock it in. And now we get to talk about what's next. All right, 2024, sister. First of all, this is the final podcast of 2023. I'm taking off next week because my college kiddos are coming home. It's the holidays and I need a little respite. I'm sure you can understand, but I will be back on January 2nd with a super exciting episode. I cannot wait, but I'm not going to reveal it just yet. Just keep an eye on the Facebook community. Keep an eye on the social medias. You'll figure out what it's going to be. And I cannot wait to share that with you. But 2024 is going to be the most amazing year of our lives. All of us, sisters, all of us, because we get to design the life of our dreams. And 2024 is it. It is going to be the year of ascension. That's my year. It's my year to ascend. And when I picked out that word, I didn't even think about what it meant. But 2023 was my bamboo year, where the bamboo is growing underneath the ground. In 2024, I am bursting forth, and I want to bring you along with me. We are girls out of order, doggone it. And we believe firmly that not fitting into the mold that others picked for us, or the old mold that maybe we allowed ourselves to fit into, we believe that not fitting in is the perfect fit. And 2024 is going to be our year to design this beautiful, compelling, gorgeous life. And I want to bring you along, and I cannot wait. So come join this Girl Out of Order Facebook community. Check out all the happenings, because I've got some really, really special events and different goodies and strategies and things I cannot wait to share in this Facebook community. Girl Out of Order is taking off in 2024. I have events planned, and I want you to be a part of it. We're going to return, like I said, on January 2nd for a very special podcast, and I cannot wait. Furthermore, not only are we going to be introducing some juicy series for 2024, but buckle up for tons of amazing interviews that are lining up to make 2024 the year that Girl Out of Order breaks barriers and expands beyond our impact around this world. And I cannot wait. I have so many plans. Oh, I'm so excited. I have so many plans, not only for the podcast, but for events and speaking and teaching, and I am so excited to share them all with you. Thank you so, so much for being a loyal listener for the Girl Out of Order podcast. In 2024, we want to grow our audience, but I cannot do it alone. I need you. Please do me a favor. Get us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, and then take a picture of that review and send it to me in either Facebook or social media so I can also use your review to get the word out because we want to spread this message far and wide. Don't keep it for ourselves. And have an incredible, incredible holiday season, especially during this time of turmoil around the world. Be a light for peace, be a light for grace, and be a light for yourself. I love you so much, sister, and I will see you in the new year.